Today on MTG Unpacked, we're cracking open the Nissa versus Nixilis Duel deck. So this is a very cool deck. I picked this up recently. Actually came out a fair while ago, but I thought I'd check it out. So we've got two foils here, Nyssa, Voice of Zendikar, and Nixilis Reignited. So what do we get in here? A life or death struggle for the soul of a plane. So we have Nissa Ravain trying to protect Zendikar from annihilation, and then we have Nixilis, who is trapped on Zendikar and trying to escape. He's going to summon terrifying demons and so forth. Sounds very interesting. We have two 60-card decks, 10 tokens, 2 deck boxes, strategy insert, reference card, and 2 spin downs. So let's crack it open. And we've opened several dual decks throughout the channel's history, so if you want to check those out, there's a whole playlist. I'll pop that up in the corner there. Alright, and they have used super glue apparently to glue this down. Look at that, wow, okay. Oh, so we've got, looks like a couple of deck boxes ready to build here. That's pretty cool. Alright, and we also have quick reference here, so if you're not familiar with these, they often include these in the dual decks, other products. So a bit about how to get set up with magic, casting spells and so forth, so that's useful if you're a newer player. Now let's take a look at this poster thing here. So on the one hand we have Nyssa. We've got a full deck list here. Stuff from BFZ, Shards Valara, Zendikar and so forth. A lot of green cards. Spells, lands. Very cool. And a little bit about the deck here. So empowering small creatures and summoning huge creatures. So a lot of lands coming into play, and then we talk about Nixilis. So here is his deck list. Lots of Rise of the Eldrazi, Zendikar, Magic Origins. Okay, so this is a little more recent than I thought. Okay, so that is cool. And then on the other side, talking about rules for Planeswalker cards. So if you coming up on War of the Spark, you know there are planeswalkers everywhere. Talks about loyalty abilities, fighting a planeswalker. Could be useful info. A little bit more about that there. Alright, very cool. So if you want to read any of that in more detail, freeze frame the video, check it out. Alright, let's get stuck into it. So we get a couple of spin downs here. Very nice. And some foils and the decks proper. Alright, so let's separate things out. We'll start off with Nyssa here. So we have Nyssa, Voice of Zendikar. Planeswalker Nyssa, 3 loyalty for 3. Her +1, put a 0/1 green plant creature token onto the battlefield. Okay. -2, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. And her ultimate -7, you gain X life and draw X cards, where X is the number of lands you control. So I think the idea here will be to pump out a heap of lands. Maybe they've got some Llanowar elves or something there to produce extra mana. Ramp up to some dirty big creatures, so that's what I'm hoping to see with this deck. And also we have Nixilis Reignited, so he's also a planeswalker, Nixilis. 5 loyalty for 5 mana is +1. You draw a card, you lose a life. -3, destroy target creature. And -8, target opponent gets an emblem with. Whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life. Alright, so let's get stuck into it. We'll start off with Nyssa's deck. And leave a note in the comments. Have you actually played with one of these decks before? What do you think? Is this something you'd be interested in? Okay, so what I like to do is separate out the lands. They sometimes, they have lands in the middle of the rest of the deck, so let's move that aside. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a huge pile of lands actually. So start off with a Fertile Thicket, enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, you may look at the top 5 cards of your library. If you do, reveal up to 1 basic land card from among them. Put that card on top of your library and rest on the bottom in any order. And you can tap, add green to your mana pool. Okay, so getting access to your basic lands. We only have 2 of those. Alright, what's this one? Kalni Garden. Enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, put a 0/1 green plant creature token onto the battlefield. Tap for green mana. So 2 of those. Okay, so tons of different green lands. Treetop Village enters the battlefield tapped. Tap it for green. Pay 1 in green. And it becomes a 3/3 green ape creature with trample until end of turn. It's still a land. Hilarious. Okay, so only 1 of those. Alright, then forests 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 18 of those. Okay, so yeah, that's about right. 20-ish lands there. Okay, let's take a look at the deck itself. So we start off with a rare Abundance. It's an enchantment for 4. If you draw a card, you may instead choose land or non-land and reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a card of the chosen kind. Put the card into your hand and put all other cards revealed this way on the bottom of your library in any order. Alright, so there we are. Some nice artwork there. Next up we have Cloud Thresher, Creature Elemental, 7/7 for 6 mana. So that's also a rare, has Flash and Reach. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to each creature with flying and each player. Okay, evoke 2 and 2 green. You may cast a spell for its evoke cost. If you do, it's sacrificed when it enters the battlefield. Okay, so it's just getting in, doing some damage, then going away, I guess. Alright. Oran Reef Hydra. What would Magic be without Hydras, I would say. Creature Hydra, 5/5 for 6 with trample. Has landfall, so whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it. If it lands a forest, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it instead. Alright, pretty cool. Okay, so we're getting lots of big creatures, you can see already. Another rare Thicket Elemental. Creature Elemental 4/4 for 5 with kicker 1 and a green. So you can pay that extra as you cast a spell. When it enters battlefield, if it was kicked, you may reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a creature card. If you do, put that card onto battlefield and shuffle all other cards revealed this way into your library. Some pretty cool, intricate artwork on that one. Next up we have another land, Mosswort Bridge, has Hideaway. This land enters battlefield tapped. When it does, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down and put the rest on the bottom of your library. You can tap it for green and pay a green tap. You may play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater. So of course we're going to have a lot of huge creatures in here. It's really going to help, except this guy, Scythe Leopard. He's just a 1/1 and has landfill, so he gets +1/+1 until the end of turn when the land enters. Just a low end creature to get you started off there. So 2 of those. Elvish Visionary. So some card draw when it enters, just a 1/1. 2 of those. Oran Reef Invoker. So moving up the mana curve here, 2/2 for 2. And you can pay 8, give it +5/+5 and gain trample until end of turn. So you're hoping to get a ton of mana in this deck apparently. Thornwield Archer with Reach and Death Touch, that's pretty cool. 2 of those. Nissa's Chosen. So if it would die, put it on the bottom of its owner's library instead, so they would have to exile this one. And I wonder if you could dig through your library. That's something we'll have to keep a lookout for. Citadel Wood Readers. So you can draw cards if you kicked it. Sort of a mid-range card there. Civic Wayfinder. Searching for basic lands. When it enters battlefield, yep, 2 of those. Fertilid enters with +1/+1 counters on it, and you can search your library for a basic land card if you're removing the counters from it. So you're sensing a theme here, lots of counters, lots of land. Guiltleaf Seer, so just a bit of a scrying there. Wood Elves, again searching for forest, put it onto the battlefield. Briarhorn, this one has flash and giving creatures +3/+3 until end of turn. Can pay the evoke cost, get it a bit cheaper, so 2 of those. Saddleback Lagak, I like the name of this guy. So he is support 2, so he can put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 other target creatures. That seems like a good deal. And there's an awful lot of one-ofs in here. I wonder how consistent this deck would be. Jaddy Lifestrider, 2/8 for 5. So tapping untapped creatures, gain 2 life when it enters battlefield. Okay. So 2 of those. Woodborn Behemoth. As long as you control 8 or more lands, it gets +4/+4 and has trample. That thing's going to get pretty out of control. Oak Gnarl Warrior. Vigilance Trample, 5/7 for 7. Walker of the Grove. So when it leaves battlefield, you can put a 4/4 green elemental on the battlefield. Crop Rotation. Sack a land and search your library for land card. Put it onto the battlefield. Okay, not quite sure. I guess if you're searching for a particular type of land, not sure how that works. Leave a note in the comments if you have a better idea of that card. Vines of the Recluse. So just pumping creatures, giving them reach. 2 of those. Gaia's Blessing. So some card draw and shuffling your graveyard into your library. Interesting. Natural Connection, searching for basic lands. Searching for 3 basic lands, put them into your hand, Seek the Horizon. And then we get plant tokens, bunch of those. Oh, and a elemental, anything on the other side? Nope. Okay, so that one put out a ton of lands, search for lands, and pump up your creatures. But it doesn't look like it would be terribly consistent, so I'm curious how that would work. Alright, so now we move on. We have a whole lot of black cards here of Nixilis. And some tokens at the end, so we'll pop those underneath here. Take a look at those near the end of the video. Okay, what else we got here? We've got a Leech-Ridden Swamp. Enters battlefield tapped. You can tap it for black and pay black. Tap. Each opponent loses 1 life. Activate this ability only if you control 2 or more black permanents. That should not be terribly difficult with this deck, so you get 2 of those. And then 1, 2, 3... 22 swamps, okay. About right. And let's move on to the deck itself. First up we have a rare Desecration Demon. Creature Demon, 6/6 for 4, has flying at the beginning of each combat. Any opponent may sacrifice a creature if a player does tap Desecration Demon and put a +1/+1 counter on it. So I'm guessing you would want to sack a bunch of your creatures here. Despoiler of Souls, Creature Horror, also a rare, 3/1 for 2, can't block, pay 2 plaque, exile 2 other creature cards from your graveyard and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can just bring that guy back. Indulgent Tormentor, Creature Demon, 5/3 for 5, has flying at the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card, unless target opponent sacrifices a creature or pays 3 life. So that's pretty cool. Get them to pay for your card draws if they don't want you to do it. Pestilence Demon has flying, 7/6 for 8. Pay a black, it deals 1 damage to each creature and each player. Okay, so you can wipe out a bunch of tokens there. Priest of the Bloodrite, Creature Human Cleric, 2/2 for 5. When it enters the battlefield, put a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying onto the battlefield. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 2 life. Nastiness. Carrier Thrall, So this is a vampire. When it dies, put a Eldrazi Scion on the battlefield, and that creature can be sacked to add black to your mana pool. We get 2 of those. Fetid Imp has flying, gains death touch until end of turn if you pay a black. Pretty handy. 2 of those. Foul Imp. When it enters battlefield, you lose 2 life. Just 1 of those. Blister Grub. Creature Horror with Swamp Walk. When it dies, each opponent loses 2 life, so we get 2 of those. Giant Scorpion with Death Touch. That's pretty cool artwork. Cadaver Imp. Ooh. Enters battlefield, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so anything that you sacrifice, you can end up just bringing it back anyway, so you're not really too concerned about that. Balagad Scorpion. You can destroy small creatures with that. Squelching Leeches. Its power and toughness for each equal to the number of swamps you control. So that's what the star is about. Fantastic. Renegade Demon. Disfigure. So -2/-2 to a target creature. Innocent Blood. Each player sacrifices a creature. And of course for this deck, you're not too worried about that because you can just bring them back from the graveyard. Maya's Toll. So this one is revealing cards, or the target player from his or her hand equal to the number of swamps you control. You choose one and they discard that card. So that's pretty handy. Quest for the Gravelord. What is this? Intriguing card name. Enchantment for black. Whenever a creature dies, you may put a quest counter on it. Remove 3 quest counters from it and sack it. Put a 5/5 black zombie giant creature token onto the battlefield. Nice. So we get 2 of those. Altar's Reap. So you have to sack a creature to cast that. You can draw 2 cards. Doomblade. Destroy target non-black creature. 2 of those, and that will work rather nicely against green. Grim Discovery, so you can either return a card from your graveyard to your hand or a land card from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so 2 of those. Shadows of the Past, so some scrying whenever a creature dies, or you can make them lose 2 life, gain 2 life, or you gain 2 life. Activate this only if there are 4 more creature cards in your graveyard. Smallpox, hideous artwork. Each player loses 1 life, discards a card, sacks a creature, then sacrifices a land. And for you, that is no problem. Just bring them back. Unhallowed Pact. So this one, enchanting creature, you can bring it back to the battlefield under your control. And I guess you can apply that to one of the opponent's creatures as well. Hideous End. So some creature destruction and reducing their life. Ambition's Cost. Card draw, losing life. Tendrils of Corruption. Dealing X damage. Okay, so X is the number of swamps you control. And you gain X life. It's pretty cool. Demon's Grasp. So getting rid of some of those huge green creatures. -5, -5. And then we have Eldrazi Saiyans. So these guys you want to just sacrifice. A demon, 5/5. Zombie Giant. And an emblem of Nixilis. Whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life. Really? Okay. So, yeah, you give the emblem to your opponent. That makes sense. Alright, so leave a note in the comments what you think of this deck. Is it something you'd want to pick up? How you think it would play? I think it goes for, it was somewhere between $20 and $30, I think. So not too expensive for these. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button for more Magic Gathering unboxings, and be sure to tap the notification bell to be notified as soon as new videos are released. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.